Hello aspirants. Today I going to talking about importance of news or current affairs. Current affairs, because if you follow our syllabus, when it's talking about prelims or mains or interview, most of portions are covered by current affairs, that is internationals, nationals, world affairs, economy affairs and many other socio-economic matters. So we have to know all the things happening our uh, internally and outsides of India, right? These types of things gives shape our international relations, country to country, leaders to leaders, how they behave all together. So this is very important to know. There was many newspapers, but mostly UPSC aspirants prefer the Hindu and Indian Express. Both newspaper come in English language. So if you are want to give your exams English mediums, so these two newspaper is very important for you. And if you are not giving your examinations in English newspapers, if you give it in Hindi, then also you can follow these types of newspapers, because there was many current affairs come from directly in these types of newspapers. Many questions come from prelims, like these years come a sports related questions on prelims. They ask about Gukesh, who are chess grandmasters. So this is the importance of newspapers. You have to learn about how to read newspapers and what newspaper choose, when time you to choose, and how much time you give for reading a newspapers. This is very important. Every newspapers have their own characteristics, and you have to understand their language and their perspectives. You have to choose some things unbiased and unbiased news reporting. So many sources come in these newspapers. There was something, sometimes when you go through the news, you sometimes understand, sometimes you just thinking this news is not good, this news is biased, this news is very good, and you like this news. So don't go which news you likes, don't read this thoroughly, otherwise you get in troubles, because you are a aspirants. You need what? You need to cover your syllabus. So you just read what is relevant for you, not what is like your brain, what you like to see or read. That is not important. So you have to write what is relevant portions. Only relevant portion is your important parts. You have to just read these portions. There was many things comes, that is globally what happens, how international relations are shapings. So you have to understand everything. Like today newspapers, if you saw, there was many things come from India and Trump, America, USA conflicts, because there was Trump's add tariff in India 25%. This is a big news. So you have to understand, you need not to go depth in 20% tariffs, because in the geopolitics there was no permanent friend or no permanent enemy. If you saw the history of worlds, there was, you saw many country 100 years before they are friend, right now they are enemies, and who knows, after 100 years they becomes best friends. This is geopolitics goes. So everyone saw their interest, everyone saw their national interest. So Trump want to expand their business in India and seeking agricultural manipulations and agricultural farming sectors produced in India, like USA produced huge quantity of milk, huge quantity of farming productions they want to sell in India. So if India give permissions, if India give permissions to USA, permission to USA come and business in India, so our farmers are getting troubles because our farmers are not so united. They have not so much lands, or they are not so well educated, and they are not well equipped, and technologically they are not advanced. So they are simply what? They simply not win in these types of giant farming sectors. So Indian government opposing these terms. For that reasons, Trump was proposed these 25% tariffs. This is very important. So you have to know the deep things why this news is making and how this news become important for your UPSC. Because if UPSC ask USA and India relations, past and present comparisons. So when you have to need to know history of US India relations, and you have to know what going on in present. So if you follow newspapers, if you follow current affairs daily basis, then you can write everything in details and quoting each leaders what saying about these things. So this is very, very important. So this is go the portions of what think you go to reads. And another things in this news is that is there was something called editorial page. There was many renowned and famous personality. They are already established in their fields. They write many things. What their opinions, they write this editorial page. And there was very, very good thinkings with logics and with sometime propaganda they use. So if you go through the editorial page, then you can understand what is the actual game internally going on. Then you can get some suggestions how to write these things, and there was many things quoted, and you sometimes quote these types of thing in your examinations. So this is very important. And who are weak in English but you want to prepare UPSC and you want to learn English, then you also read these types of newspapers, because when you daily read newspapers, then you have inbuilt capacity, then you get everything. So what about in writing English? Because sometimes when we practice daily, practice gives us very huge results. If you not practicing everything, despite you are a God gifted talented, your talent is wasted and you become a general public. But a general public's daily practice and daily go what he want, then he one day become a talented person, because practice have no alternatives. So you have to practice every day reading newspapers, and don't waste your times read more and more irrelevant news. Right? Some political issue, some internal political issue. There was no linkage between UPSC and this political issue. You can read once headlines, that is okay, but not go deep. That harm your mentality. That very, very important. So these types of political thing you avoid. If there was science related something happening, science related something happening, environment relating something you get in newspapers, and some protest if you saw, and many things, some sports persons, some extraordinary post persons, and some book loans. These types of things when come in newspapers, you have to understand and what is going on in these subjects, and you have to note down what is going on weekly basis, what is going on monthly basis, because sometimes one news covered daily what cover their updated versions. So these types of thing you have to need understands before reading newspapers. If you like our channel, I hope you subscribe my channels and spread these things towards your fellow peers. Thank you very much.